Hello and welcome to the Author podcast. I'm your host Revati. Today I have Dr. Chhavi Gandhi with us. Chhavi Gandhi is a doctor turned author who seamlessly blends medical insights with compelling storytelling. With a background in healthcare, she crafts narratives that explore human emotions, social themes, and the realities of the medical world. Her writing spans multiple genres, including contemporary fiction, medical drama, women's fiction, comedy drama, and YA fantasy. Her published works include The Mess in Her Womb, a poignant exploration of IVF and infertility, and Roots and Wings, a heartfelt story about adoption and identity. Her upcoming novel, An Unbirthed Dream, delves into the emotional journey of a couple who adopt a child after battling years of infertility and miscarriages. Additionally, she is working on a YA fantasy book series set in India and a YA romance comedy series based in a small town in India designed to keep readers hooked with cliffhangers. Beyond writing books, Chavi shares her thoughts on literature, storytelling, and the intersection of medicine and fiction on her blog, Doctor Turned Author. Through her blog, she offers insights into the writing process, book recommendations, and reflections on themes that shape her stories. She is also an active part of the literary community, having been a Jaipur bookmark delegate at the Jaipur Literature Festival of 2025. Wow, quite an impressive profile there. Hello and welcome to
Thank
the
you.
podcast, Chavi.
Thank you for having me here, Devati. It's an honor to be a part of this podcast.
Beautiful. We are glad to have you here today. So, I'm looking forward to a very insightful podcast episode today and really excited. Thank you again for coming here. All right, Chavi. So I see that you are a doctor and you've seen a lot, and I see lots of reasons after going through your profile. I do understand that there have been quite many reasons for you to start being an author. Can you share with
Mhm.
us which was your "this is it, I had to be an author" moment?
I was thinking about it for a very long time. What can be the this is it moment? Because I've been asked quite a bit that when did you suddenly wake up and realize that today I will be the author. Today I'll pick up my
Hmm.
laptop and I'll start, typing on my keyboard. But there was no certain moment. I think it was all destined. So I
Hmm.
was 11 years old when I wrote my first poetry of my sister. And then I wrote a fiction, a very short story about a girl who got stuck in a classroom when all of her class was playing in the playground for the games period.
Hmm.
And how that half an hour just, gave her basically the moral of the story according to my sixth standard girl I was. The moral of the story was that how you can extract good out of misery. And what good she extracted was that she learned her history chapter, and in the next period she just rocked that history
Beautiful.
lesson.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And you can create multiple interpretations from that kind of story, but it was back when I was 11 years old. And after that, I took a break because, my parents were doctors and they would insist that, stop concentrating on literature.
Uh-uh.
So by that time, Three Idiots was not released. And Indian parents were of that stereotypical thinking process.
Yes.
So that is why I was concentrating more on becoming doctor. But when I got married and my husband, my husband, we used to study together in the same school. So
Okay.
he knew about my creative abilities as an author. And he knew I was always a favorite amongst, although he was a topper in class, but I was a favorite amongst all the English teachers that had come and gone.
Okay.
And it used to intrigue him a lot that what kind of literature she's writing or reading. Because once I interpreted John Keats' poetry to my English teacher, and I think I was 13 or 14, and she was mighty impressed. And he remembers that particular incident.
Hmm.
And that was when he pushed me that, I think you have saved enough, and now you can leave all this for a while. test your waters as an author, see where you can go. So
Wow.
there was no this is it moment, but he was constantly nagging me for 2, 3 years till I gave in and I said, okay, maybe I will try this now.
So sometimes the belief that you don't have in yourselves or yourself,
Mhm.
right? Somebody else has to give it. And of
Yes.
course, I'm glad that it was your husband.
Yeah.
So it's a match indeed made in heaven.
True, true. I agree with that.
So Chavi, I was curious. Uh, I understood that during the COVID times, you
Hmm.
saw and witnessed hands-on something that we
Hmm.
just could watch on TV or read in articles. Can you
Yes.
share with us something that is some incident or any few experiences that is still etched in your mind?
If I tell you that I'm writing a semi-memoir on this, it's called Viral Waves,
Hmm.
and I'm basically editing the fifth draft of the same.
Okay.
Luckily, I was in tier one city when COVID came, and
Hmm.
my services were urgently required in most of the hospitals.
Hmm.
But then I'm writing this. I'm writing basically the whole story is fabricated in a tier three city somewhere in Haryana. So I changed the narrative a little bit. But if I tell you about my experience, there is see each and every day was challenging, and each and every day made me addicted to that adrenaline surge. That is what happened during those 2 years when I was serving in COVID. So every day I would get up at around I think 6:30 in the morning, and I would come back from the hospital at 12:30, 11. So there was no time basically, and I would see that my husband was equally cooperative. He never asked why are you late today, why are you going early today, and his only question would be, did you have your food on time? It's fine if you came back at 11 o'clock. Did you have dinner? And once what happened was when we were at the precipice of this COVID, when it was the first wave was going on during August, September, probably 2020. Then this journalist from Reader's Digest, she caught hold of me and she
Hmm.
did a cover story on me during that
Oh,
time.
wow.
And that was the most authentic cover story on me that I have seen because others were covering just a technical part of it. She
Right.
actually covered how my family members are also equally in danger and
True.
how they are cooperating with me.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
think that was basically the personally for me, that was the most, profound part of the whole experience.
Hmm.
But the other part that I saw was based on humanity. There's some people who took advantage of the situation, but those were hardly 1 or 2% of them. 98% wanted to save each other from this pain.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So, so what was your takeaway from the experience?
The whole takeaway is that have trust in your healthcare
Huh.
because they are truly, even today, god forbid some epidemic again comes up, and if my services are required,
Hmm.
I will leave all this. I will leave my writing. I will go back to the hospital again with the same zeal that I was doing that time. I'm a big fan of adrenaline. For example, if I'm working as an author, every day I get up with an enthusiasm what blog post I will write, what review
Wow.
I will do, what book I will read today. So, this is what used to happen that time as well when I was working. Okay, what unusual case I will see today, how I will handle it, how I will handle the emotional side of the patients, how I will prepare my ICU so that all patients remain safe, or their family members remain safe. My whole takeaway is that just trust in your healthcare. The doctors themselves are very enthusiastic to work.
Wow. 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 Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. So, how has your journey been with authoring?
My journey has been a little underwhelming, I would say, but equally satisfactory.
Hmm.
So I started writing The Mess in Her Womb, which is my first book, which came on March 27, 2022. And I started working on it in 2020 because I in 2021 I had suffered two IVF failures, and I used to be asked very unsolicited questions, and it's not just the physical part of it; it was the emotional side of it that really intrigued me. And when my husband saw me in that emotional turmoil, he said, "Why don't you write a book where you clearly state that, this is my emotional turmoil, and please, I'm going through this. You're looking at me taking in pills. You're looking at me, taking injections. Why are you asking me such harsh questions?" So the questions would be, for example, first of all, when will you have kid? An auntie who doesn't even know my surname is asking me such questions. The other questions were that, okay, oh, you had a miscarriage in your first IVF. Were you not taking care of yourself? Were you not eating properly?
The
Just go to that
audacity, no?
particular temple. Sorry?
The audacity people have.
Audacity, yes, yes, the audacity. And did you go to visit this particular temple? Did you have their ghee or prasad? People conceive naturally through this. So I said, I can't conceive naturally. That's the thing. The science doesn't allow me to do that. Leave alone science. There are medical miracles. It's fine. They want me to see the positive side of it. But the thing is, there is always a practical side of it. It's nothing positive. It's
Yes.
a scientific problem. It has to come up with scientific solutions. So, have you seen this astrologer? Have you fed any cow? Have you taken care of any pregnant animal? And then I thought, okay, I'm writing a book,
Hmm.
but I'm not specifically mentioning all these questions in that book. Why? Because I don't want these thoughts to get into people. I just want to see a raw, depressive side of me that comes out only when I'm all alone in my room. When my friend comes to my house and declares that, she's pregnant, how I make an excuse and go to the washroom and I cry myself out and come back as if nothing had happened. And my washroom already has a mascara and foundation so that tear stains are not seen on my face, which actually happens. So these are the kind of scenarios I've described in The Mess in Her Womb. How something as mundane as miscarriage, which is reduced to be something as mundane. It's not mundane at all. I know the experience. I know when the child dies in your womb, your dream dies with that child. And that is why I'm coming up uh, with a sequel of this book. It's called An Unbirthed Dream. It's about experience of child adoption in India. And it is actually the research of it was the most fun part, more than writing the book, because I was going through all the adoptive parents. I was talking to them. I was asking their experience, prospective adoptive parents, how they took care of, because in India it takes about 3 to 4 years after you put an application to adopt. So for those 3 to 4 years, I asked them, okay, what did you do? How did you plan those 3 to 4 years? And the kind of responses I got, my goodness, it was, I thought, this is a divine experience, because loving something that was not meant for you and unconditionally loving something, it is actually some other kind of experience. And it's not just about that, the insecurities they were going through, because there was one lady, I wouldn't take the name as of now. She told me that her daughter came home when she was 7 months old, and now she's 2 years old. And 2 years, as you know, as you have experienced yourself, is the age of temper tantrums. So her temper tantrums were coming up. The rational side of me was telling me that, her emotions are developing, they're overwhelming to her. So that's why she's behaving like this. The irrational side that has suffered trauma through infertility. I'm not able to take care of this. Maybe her biological mother would. Or, she said sometimes what happens is my neighbor who has delivered naturally, she comes home and she takes care of my daughter. And my daughter is calm after that. And I question myself that maybe God wasn't giving me my child because maybe this was the result. I would not have, been able to take care of that little child. So these are they are very gross kind of insecurities that make you question yourself. And she said that is when I thought, okay, I have to go to therapy. I can't deal like this. I can't be a mother like this. And this is what this story is based upon. That it doesn't matter how much, my protagonist is doing for her daughter. She is still reeling on the fact that, she was infertile for a purpose, maybe, whenever she has difficult moments with her child.
See, I have no words to express here, but I can give you one assurance, Chavi. Out of being a mother myself,
Mm,
uh, raising a child and bearing the
mhm.
child, right? They have no connection at all.
True.
All right. So,
That's true. Yeah.
and every mother who has birthed a child may
Mm-hmm.
wantingly and unwantedly. There
Mm-hmm.
are women who want a child and
Mm-hmm.
they don't conceive. There are women who do not want a child at all and they conceive. You
Yeah.
would have seen you would have seen, come across these cases, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and dealing with, they are parents for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody comes with a 100% manual, a user's manual to how to deal with a child. Everybody goes
Yeah.
through the same. So, to all the mothers out there, any person who wants to be a mother, I would want to extend my wide arms and tell them, like, this is this case with everyone. All right. And whatever you do, you are the best judge for your child.
True.
Because we've seen mothers who have birth children and they deal with extreme things to do. I mean, they hurt
Mm-hmm.
their own child.
Yeah.
We have seen many a case in which a mother who has birthed the child herself hurts the child,
Mm-hmm.
right? So does
True.
that mean that it is not nothing, it has got nothing with birthing or raising a child at all? It is the mental peace that the mother has to make to herself. And it is not easy. It is not an easy thing to do for anyone,
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so yeah.
In
So,
fact, there is something as small as which I've described in the book, if I may say,
hmm,
that uh, my protagonist becomes nervous because she was asked in a birthday party, okay, what does your girl like?
hmm,
What does she like to likes to eat?
hmm,
And the protagonist is she's gone into this suddenly this confusion. Okay, what does my child eat? What would she prefer? And then she breaks down in front of her friend, sorry, psychiatrist, that I did not know the answer of it. And the psychiatrist said that you know what, my daughters, they one day they like pasta, the next day they like broccoli, even I don't have answer to it.
very
So
true.
and I give birth to them.
Very
And
true.
yeah, so the when you raise an adopted child, you can love them as much as biological child, but you
Yes.
can't raise them the same,
Yes.
because these children, they don't come from, see, when their brains are developing and when they're in the mother's womb, and the mother is resenting them that I have to give away this child, I can't afford to raise this child, whether the child is being given away or being orphaned or being abandoned somewhere, child knows only one word, that is abandonment. And that is what their neural connections make. Very early on, they stop believing in adults. That there will be one single caretaker for them throughout their lives. So they don't want to be dependent on their parents, and that is when they get adopted and get a loving parents.
Foster care. Yeah.
That is the time when they get devolved. So
Hmm.
what I've shown in the book is that when the 2-year-old girl comes into the family, she knows how to change her clothes because she has learned very early on in the orphanage that not one nanny is being given to her. People will keep on changing. There are younger kids also who need nanny's attention. So she started taking care of herself very early on, and she's eating banana with peel. She's
Hmm.
saving banana for herself because whenever food comes into the orphanage, then all orphans come and want to
Yes.
pick
Grab
as
it.
much food as possible. So nobody should take away her food. So that kind of empathy is also shown in that book. You cannot equate an adopted child to a biological child. You have to learn them more. You have to learn to love them more.
And you need a lot of patience.
Lot of it. So what I did was I wanted to understand this process even better before I wrote this book. I enrolled for adoption. And my husband and I, we were always of that thought that, although we are suffering this infertility in 6 years now, and everyone tried to warn us, that please go for adoption. It takes 3 to 4 years and all. I said, I will go for adoption the day I am waiting for that child as much as I'm waiting for my own.
Hmm.
Only that will give justice to my future child. And he said, okay, no, adoption is a very noble task. I said, it's not noble. It's not, my future child is not charity. Sorry.
True, true, true,
So,
true.
yeah. Just to break the mold everywhere, I said, okay, the future child is not charity. If a case of charity is coming, then we are charity to that child. We are the charity case, because we want to be parents. That child is not looking for home. They are happy in their orphanage. They don't know what family is. But we want to become parents. We want to be called as mummy and papa. That is why we are charity case to that child. And I think the day we understand that, that is when we know that, okay, now we are prepared to get a child in our homes.
Right. Even, yes, people who have birthed naturally and they have not birthed a child, I would tell you
Mhm,
95% of the cases, they don't want to have
mhm,
the child like because they want to have the child.
mhm.
Right. And especially in an Indian scenario, people birth their child, they give birth to children just to reduce societal pressure.
Checklist.
Right.
Checklist. Yeah.
Checklist. That is one of the
Mhm.
checklists. Get married, have a child, and
Yeah.
stay late. Nobody's going to
True.
question you again. Right? So
Mm-hmm.
nobody, unless and until you have something like you come across something like this, the misery that you're going through right now. So only then people realize the importance of it.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, they are not as well learned as you are. The desperation
Mm.
level is entirely different, and they behave totally differently, and they just want it to happen. And whatever you said,
Yeah.
that word, like that just hit me, that the child that you're going to have, even if you adopt it, that is not charity, definitely not.
True.
Because just because people should not abuse you, just because the society should not question you, you had the child,
Mm-hmm.
you adopted the child. And yes, people who really really want to become parents, they would not, they would not be talking like this. And like, yeah, so yes, you were telling.
The women got their uterus and ovaries removed. They
Ah,
undergo hysterectomy and oophorectomy and
yes.
still lead a normal life.
Hmm.
If that is not testament of nature that motherhood is a choice, I don't know what is. You
Hmm.
cannot live without your lungs or kidneys. In fact, God has given you two of them, not just one. So if one stops working, you have another one. You
Right.
can't live without your liver. Your liver has a power to regenerate.
Yes.
But if today your uterus and ovaries are taken out,
Hmm.
you can live your life very nicely.
True.
So this is the proof that motherhood is a choice. Even God has given a choice to women and not an obligation that because I'm giving you uterus, you have to carry a child. Otherwise, you will die. It's not like that.
Hmm.
God has said, okay, I'm giving you a vessel to carry a child. If you want to someday, you can. If you don't, you don't.
Yes. Very true. So, Chavi, we just keep ranting, we just keep venting about how society is treating us. So, if you're given the power of telling the people on their faces, what kind of questions would you want people to not ask you?
Okay, so
Yeah.
first of all, I wouldn't like to be asked that when I'm having my child, because even I don't know the answer of it. The simple thing is that I don't know the answer when I will have my child. If I had, then I would have, I think, two children running around my house. Secondly, don't ask me what I ate or what I did not eat or whom I prayed to, whom I did not pray to during my IVF treatments, because I don't want to get into those kind of nitty gritties. I
Hmm.
want to do better than, see, praying might have its power, but what I see praying is it's a self consolation, right? It's not just you just fold your hands in front of deity that some labor has made and your wishes will be fulfilled. It's a self consoling, it's a power of self consolation which basically uh, keep your hormones in balance. It reduces your stress. So right now the praying phenomena is something that even it stresses you even more. You did not go to this temple, you did not do this, you did not do that. So don't get into those nitty gritties if you don't want to. But if praying gives you, if it is something that brings you peace, please do that. But don't ask me to do that because it doesn't bring me peace as such. And third thing I would not like people to ask me is, if not child, then what next? Because my husband, what next means when the tone is such that what will you do in your life without a child?
Oh,
Because we have it's there is no bucket list, but we have so many tasks to fulfill if not a child. My husband and I mean, he has a set of goals, I have my set of goals, and then we have common goals that we
hmm.
need to achieve. And people think that traveling is a leisure. It's not leisure, it's not just relaxation. Traveling gives me so many tips on how to write. It gives so many ideas to my husband on what is the research gap in entrepreneurship, where he can, explore. So you can make traveling, you make so many things out of this traveling. So my gynecologist is, for the past 5 years, my gynecologist is Dr. Harita Rao in Ayansh Hospital. And I would say that she's now family. She's not a doctor anymore to me. And she also considers me as a younger sister, daughter, whatever you interpret out of this relationship. And I share a beautiful camaraderie with her. And I've been asked again and again whether I should change my doctor, I should take second, third, fourth opinion. The thing is, I don't need to, because I explain my case, because I'm in doctor circles. I explain my case to another IVF specialist, and she said that your doctor has done everything that she could. There's nothing I can add to it. Excuse me. And I knew the answer for that. I knew that she would answer this because, as a doctor, even I can see that she has put in all the efforts that she possibly can. And so I don't like, my doctor being questioned, because, it's mostly about faith. Your in infertility or doctor patient relationship is as important as the treatment itself. And the fifth thing that I would not people to ask me is, have we applied for adoption? Although we have, but then it is followed up with that it's a noble task. There are so many children who are suffering. I would say there are not many children who are suffering, but there are a lot of infertile couples who are suffering. Because if you go to CARA website, which is Central Adoption Resource Agency, if you go to the official website and you register there, then they will show you how many children are there per prospective adoptive parents. Last time I checked, from the zone that I have applied, that is Haryana, there are zero children for 1,500 waiting parents right now.
God.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? Wow. Okay. Okay.
And with this is leaving out specially abled children. Special needs children are different category altogether. But if you want a healthy child for yourself, you have to wait for 3.5 to 4 years. There is no other option.
Wow. So this
Yeah.
is the reality, and we are kept from all this information. Like it is totally the misinformation and disinterest in learning stuff before
Yeah.
questioning or even talking to people about stuff that you don't know.
You
That,
know what?
that will be yeah.
I was in a mental health support group,
Hmm.
and somebody and I said, okay, why I'm suffering. So I was suffering through a lot of depression. I was very vocal about it when I suffered my second miscarriage back in 2022.
Hmm.
And I became very vocal about it. Okay, I have suffered through this, and this is my share of mental health complications. And I was talking to someone regarding this from the support group, and she said, It's fine anyway, not every person deserves to be a parent, and there are so many suffering children. So I said, why sometimes that 1% reservation that comes in my mind, it's because of maybe people like you. And I forgave her internally because she was some 20-year-old, probably she was in college. And when you're in college, you think that you have a lot of worldly knowledge on how the whole system works.
Yes.
But as you grow up, you keep, the sign of wisdom is when you think that probably this knowledge is not enough. and you need to procure more of it. And I told her that adoption is a complicated process, both internally, as in your internal conflict, and if you see the dynamics of it through logistics. And she said, "Don't throw this bull crap at me. It just shows that you don't deserve to be a mother if you're so against adoption." So I said, "You have given your verdict that I don't deserve to be a mother. Fine. The thing is, it's somehow not affecting me."
To each his own.
Yeah, to each his own. So I thought, okay, she has a lot of time to gather wisdom as much as possible. So once she grows up, probably a decade down the line, maybe she will feel apologetic for what she had said.
Yes.
Um, yeah, but I thought, okay, I did not say in my head. I was just praying for her that may God give her opportunities to learn.
I had the same prayer for her.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, talking about coming back to your books,
Mhm.
and how has your experience with publishers been while publishing your books? And what was their feedback and the inputs that
Mhm.
you got with publishing your book?
Okay, so
Hmm.
Indian publishing is the most complicated uh, area of book writing,
Hmm.
especially when it comes to traditional publishing. I want to feel, I, I actually like to feel a little bit victimized as an author that why traditional publishers are not picking me up.
Hmm.
But then I attended this Jaipur bookmark as a delegate in 2025, and what I discovered was actually it changed my way that I look at publishing. See,
Hmm.
publishing is it's now corporate, and they have to pay money for typesetting, for pages, for printers. There are 100 other third parties that they have to pay to, and everywhere now they have GST and everything. So the cost of book increases. So
Hmm.
so now they have to be very careful about whom they pick as their author, and that comes from who already has a cloud, who already has a reader base. For example, okay, I'll take a name, Prajakta Kohli.
Hmm.
She wrote a book Too Good to Be True, and she was criticized along all the platforms that it's not a book that can change your life.
Hmm.
But why is she writing it? She doesn't have any business in writing, and all over social media it was circulating.
Hmm.
And my whole question was, I understand traditional publishers' decision to pick up her book because what happened in Jaipur Literature Festival. So this Jaipur bookmark is a niche of Jaipur Literature Festival. There are hardly 20, 30 people inside a room, and there are there are speakers who are coming from this. For example, we have HarperCollins CEO,
Hmm.
global as well as India, Anand Padmanabhan, and we had people like Millie Aishwarya, who is Penguin Random House's publisher. We had Meru Gokhale and Namita Gokhale in the panel. So it consists of amongst those people in the panelists who have changed the way India sees their literature in regional as well as English language or other languages like French or German. So it gave way to editors, translators, publishers, book distributors, as well as bookstore owners. All of them had different panels in Jaipur Bookmark. So when I heard them, I understood how this industry works, why they are so choosy about their authors, and why don't they see the merit in the story, but they see the merit in the author, that how much publicity the author will bring.
Bring in.
That is why people like Ankur Vadeko and Prajakta Kohli, and you should see the signing of Prajakta Kohli. There's so many collegians who were lining up outside a booth for this book signing, and the queue was, I think, bigger than probably what happened when the when the COVID guidelines were relaxed and all those alcohol shops were open. Imagine how long will queue, just double
Right.
those queues. And that is what you will get in Prajita Kohli's signing, book signing. And they were just running off the shelves.
Oh.
They were at some point they were just selling themselves off. People were not just buying them. And then I thought, okay, now I understand why HarperCollins picked Prajakta Kohli. And then she has a lot of followers. And what I thought ultimately was, okay, let's be a stubborn optimistic person. you know um, J.K. Rowling, when she wrote Harry Potter, it increased the reading amongst children to about 37%. That's one study says from Harvard University.
Lovely. Yes.
If Prajakta Kohli's book
Yes.
makes people get into the habit of reading, then why not?
Yes. Correct. That's a different
Ultimately, they
perspective.
might reach me. Right.
Right.
Today they are reading Prajakta Kohli. Tomorrow they might read. See, when that we talk about reading, we always talk about high literature.
Hmm.
Why always go to high literature? Why always talk about people like Gitanjali Shri, Gokhale? They are not of everyone's taste, although they have done some profound work in their writing.
Hmm.
Not everyone can be Ruskin Bond. Not everyone can be, let's say, Kiran Desai or Arundhati Roy.
Hmm.
So, let's just calm down a little bit about what people are consuming. Let's just, because everyone has their own taste on content, let people read Chetan Bhagat, let people read the Joy Datta. Why
Huh.
not?
Hmm.
So, this is what my opinion is, that as far as I support indie authors, I don't think traditional publishers they're glorified. I don't glorify them any further. All I'm saying is give self publication a chance in India, because bookstores are not keeping copies of self published authors in their shelves. I
Hmm.
understand the limited space on the shelves also, but I think they can create separate 3 4 shelves every bookstore owner. Then there are a lot of indie authors that they can become a little secure that, okay, I will get that kind of visibility, because there are authors like me who are quite ambitious. In US, if you see, bookstore support Barnes and Nobles is there that supports them to an extreme level.
Hmm. All right. Okay. So, Chavi, what would be your we keep marketing for ourselves. You have your Instagram page, you have your LinkedIn page, and everywhere you keep giving shout outs and keep telling people that you have published a book of yours. What can be done to make self-published books reach to people? What is your take on this? How can you do it?
Hmm. At first, I think first of all, self-published people, um, they have to hire an editor,
Hmm.
because ultimately what people see is quality. Even if I pick a book because of the cover,
Hmm.
if the first page is not is waking up my inner grammar Nazi, it's just not it.
Huh. Right. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So first of all, just make your book the quality content that people deserve.
Hmm.
Only then you will get well deserved readers. What happened with me was that I wrote a book, I gave it to the editor. The editor made hardly 2 or 3 changes, sent me back. There were some changes that I made by myself and sent the this manuscript back to them. But they ended up with a previous manuscript, and the same mistakes had happened
Hmm.
in the version that was ultimately printed,
Oh.
and it just disturbed me what had happened. But then I thought, okay, now it's done, because if now when I want the repeat I want the second version of it, they are asking me to pay for typesetting.
Hmm.
So I did not get a very good support from my self-published platform. And in the name of self-publishing, there are companies, who are the vanity publishers, who are basically looting people. I would say to the self-publishers, do not spend a single penny on publishing your book. You can learn to publish your book. You have to just market your book. And if you are a good author, it's not just about writing the book. Write in other areas also. Make a blog. Write about other people. Write about other causes that you believe in. There's so much more ways where you can expose yourself, make
Right.
yourself a trustable writer. So
Correct.
if people read my blog post, they see that I'm writing on relevant topics, on the today's topics. For example, my recent blog right now was how J.K. Rowling has fallen from her status of literary icon.
Yes, I read that.
Okay. So when you write such content, it's not like it's a viral content, it's a relevant content nowadays.
Yes.
So it's all about empathy towards a certain section of society which her literally icon like her are lacking. And that is what can influence our next generation. And that is why after Harry Potter, none of her books worked because nobody wants to buy her work now.
Right.
So
Right.
if you talk about these relevant topics, you that is how you and just don't over promote your book on Instagram. That is also one
Hmm.
blog post that I've written today
Hmm.
morning itself.
Hmm.
Do not oversell your books. Your every reel, every this thing should not be about your book.
True.
Read other people's work also, and this will benefit you as an author as well. If you want to go into traditional publishing, read what traditional authors have written.
Hmm.
This is the best thing you can do to yourself. As much as I am for indie authors, I think traditional publishers will give you credibility because they are the third party people. If they accept your manuscript, you will feel validated that okay, some other person liked my book and not, it's not just me who likes my work. And then they will and the best part is traditional publishers promote you and they treat your book as their book. So if you want to be what my point is, you can be a self-published author, you can be a traditional author, but become an author who people can trust.
True. So rather than sitting and ranting, there used to be days that where people used to say like, just do your duty, and whatever has to come out of it, the fruit that has to come out of it, it'll come.
Yeah,
So it'll happen. But right now, the world has entirely changed. So rather than
true.
sitting doing your own thing, make a network, lay a foundation
Yes.
which is strong, and make a
Mm-hmm.
trustworthy network and work for each other. So once you start
Hmm.
working up, you're actually building, you're laying a strong foundation, you're building a huge network. And when people start working for each other, people start giving shout outs for each other, that's how you grow.
Yes.
That is how the
Yes.
social media works. So yeah, so you have to change according to the world. So that's a
True.
lovely input. In fact, you're not just sitting and you're just ranting, and you're actually building, and you're just going out and building great network with people out there. So
Thank
that
you.
is a beautiful perspective, Chavi. That was very constructive, in fact.
Yeah, the thing is we have wasted a lot of time in ranting, I feel.
Hmm.
And I thought if people are not picking my books, I will show them a different side of my writing. Maybe they
Right.
can start with small snippets in my blog. Then probably they will go to some, for example, I'm writing on Wattpad also. It's called The Homemaker Hustle. I'm
Hmm.
writing on Pratilipi. It's a book on identity crisis. It's called Roots and Wings. So maybe people will read that and then they will know, okay, she is capable of, she has an emotional quotient of writing such kind of topics. And probably then they will, get promoted to the books. Okay, now I trust her as an author. Her work is great, and I can read 150 pages of what she has written,
Right.
150
Right.
200 pages. So once that happens, that is when you have achieved something. It's not to, there are authors of traditional publishing that have not achieved this kind of standstill now. Their one book got hit, the second was super flop.
With this, I would wish, Chavi, that it was a lovely conversation with you. I happen to learn quite a lot about publishing, the world of publishing, and how to build a network of yours. I'm still hung there. Quite lovely
Thank you so much.
perspective, Chavi. So, and Arthropod wishes you that you grow more, and may your, whatever you publish, whatever you write, it keeps growing and reaching out to people. And God gives you the best of everything in life. Wish
Thank
you
you so much. It really
wholeheartedly. It
means a
comes
lot.
from the entire team of Arthropod. And we wish you all the very best in life.
My all blessings are with Orthopod because they have been supporting me since my day one of being an author. It actually brings a lot of nostalgia when I talk about it because Neil Shri and I have been I think mates since I think beginning of 2022, and my first book was released, which happened to be her birthday, March
Oh,
27th.
acha, okay.
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
that's how Author Pod is so special for me.
Ah, right. So Nisha will be really proud to listen to this. So yeah, so it was lovely talking to you, Chavi.
Yeah.
Wish you all the very best again.
Thank you, Revati. It was nice talking to you.
Same here. Thank you.
Thank you.